Hi, I'm Taylor, and I'm looking for a headline. So today I'm going to be talking about the Toronto Star and Peel and their police force, because the Toronto Star recently got a hold of disciplinary records for 60 Peel police officers that have been disciplined over the last couple of years. Of the disciplinary records, it was found that some officers were sexually harassing coworkers, such as touching or showing pictures of their genitals to them. Some officers interfered with investigations to protect friends, and some officers were found to be taking evidence, such as an iPod and crack cocaine, for their own personal use. Now, the article goes into great detail about a constable, Perry McVicker, who harassed and showed pictures of his genitals to several young female rookie police officers, and he was demoted for 6 months and forced to take workplace harassment training. Peel police have fought for a very long time to keep these records hidden, and it was under a Freedom of Information Act that the Toronto Star even got access to this information. So, why does this matter? Well, it kind of follows the train of thought that we've been following for a little while and looking for a headline talking about cops and how they don't like to be recorded and how they abuse their authority. That's not to say all cops abuse their authority, just a few cops abuse their authority, but it paints a bad picture for the rest of cops. But when you're protecting the bad cops, hiding their disciplinary records, keeping them safe from the media, you are actively making cops' images worse. You are actively protecting that vocal minority of cops that makes the rest of you look bad. So when people say, oh, it's only the few cops that look bad, that make the majority of them look worse, well, those cops were hired. Those cops were protected. Those cops still have their jobs. So when people say, hey, it's the vocal minority, no. The police officers, police as a whole, are protecting these cops. They are actively protecting the cops that make them look bad. So you don't get much sympathy from me. These cops really weren't punished all that much. I mean, the article goes in to discuss months of demotions, lower pay grades for a very limited amount of time. Workplace harassment training, I mean, that's useful and all that, but I doubt it's going to show a repeat offender who has showed pictures of his genitals to women for years that he's been making mistakes. Or how about docking pay? 20 days of pay, 1 week of pay, 30 days of pay. Docking 20 days of pay is not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. What bothers me is the fact that in any other workplace in Canada, or the United States, or in a lot of countries in this world, if you showed pictures of your genitals to a female rookie staff member, you'd be fired. Why weren't these guys fired? And I'm not saying that every cop that commits an offense should be fired. I'm saying these cops should be fired. And that sets an example. No cop is going to show pictures of their genitals to young female staff members ever again after this, if the cop has been fired, which apparently is a recurring issue. What kinds of people are the cops searching for when they hire employees? What kind of people are protecting us? We need to be asking these questions. We need to ask, what are the hiring practices for being a cop? Why aren't these cops being disciplined? When they are being disciplined, why are their disciplines so light? Why, in any other workplace in Canada, would this not be happening? Because police are granted protections. They rarely get found guilty, and when they do, they get slapped on the wrist. Take a look at the G20 cop who was found guilty for falsely arresting people. The guy was docked less than a month's pay. These cops aren't punished. They're granted protections that regular, everyday citizens aren't for crimes that anyone could commit. It's baffling. And until these changes take place, until we start punishing cops for doing crimes that regular people do, this shit's just going to keep happening.